Today on Inside Drag Racing, a history of the quarter-mile sport. We will take you to the house that Big Daddy built, the Don Garlits Museum of Drag Racing in Ocala, Florida, and we'll talk with the Swamp Rat himself. That's coming up next on IDR. It's a treasure trove of drag racing history. You will see vehicles, memorabilia, all kinds of incredible artifacts right here in this one building. Hi everybody, I'm Doc Riley and welcome to the special edition of Inside Drag Racing. We come to you from the Don Garlits Museum of Drag Racing, and the first thing you see when you come in the door is this, the original wheel stander. It is Bill Maverick Golden's incredible machine. You know, they made models off of this. You would see it in the pages of CarCraft magazine. It really is living history. Bill Maverick Golden's race cars and trucks won over 4,200 races, set some 660 track records, and received 48 national title and awards. Nicknamed the Maverick in 1958 for campaigning and winning the stock Dodge Racer Maverick, won his very first of many national events in 1962 under the sponsorship of Dodge. Now, in late 1964, Maverick drove a compact Dodge truck named the Little Red Wagon for a Dodge. Tough Trucks commercial and introduced a new concept of exhibition racing known as wheel standing. And in 1982, Maverick retired the wheel-standing Little Red Wagon from drag racing to build and campaign a 1983 Dodge Wheelie pull truck. Let's kick off this special edition of Inside Drag Racing with the man who the museum's named after, Don Garlits, and his very first drag racing vehicle.
This is where the sport all began. Flathead Dragster on 1927 Model T Ford rails. Now, actually, this wasn't always a dragster. In the beginning, this engine was a head. There was a roadster body back here. The driver sat right about here, and it had a drive shaft in it. Well, you didn't get enough traction. See how small these tires are? So I moved the engine back, took the body off, put this roll bar on, set the driver in back of the rear end, got a lot of traction. This car won the drag safari up in Lake City in 1955. Was my first real big NHRA win. And let me tell you something about some of the safety features on this car as opposed to the things we have today. Of course, I mentioned the roll bar. These panels are to protect the driver. That's a little side piece. They made you put them on. The exhaust had to be directed away from the driver. You see the flex pipe directing the exhaust out the back. There had to be a cover over the carburetors in case the engine backfired and flames didn't come back in your face. And I'll tell you, it had a seat belt in it. Actually, it might have been better to be thrown clear of this car. But actually, it did have a seat belt. And there wasn't much else that they looked at. That was about it. And I was 76th car to enter the race at the Lake City, so that's why it has a 76 on it. The beginning was very, very primitive and very, very crude. But we had one heck of a good time.
Inside Drag Racing is brought to you by Summit Racing Equipment, Summit, the world speed shop, by ARP, the world leader in racing fastener technology, and by Duplicolor, the leader in automotive paints, primers, and coatings. Yes, you can with Duplicolor. Here at the Garlands Museum, a little bit of a history lesson. This, Dandy Dick Landy's Dodge. Now, this was a Superstock A, and there was also Superstock FX. We'll get to that in just a second. But this piece right here, a big, important part of history. This car, no back seat in it, very light front seats. The door, very light. The front end, built out of aluminum, light, light, light. The old adage, win on Sunday and sell on Monday, that was the era right here. Back in the day when you had the factory battles, and the factories took it very, very, very serious, that if you won, people would start buying your car. And Dick Landy used to have a big cigar that he'd put in his mouth, and he would even race with that cigar. A lot of track operators wanted Dandy Dick Landy to come to their track because that would mean people would be buying tickets to come see him race. This was actually the precursor to the funny car. The reason? When they altered the wheelbase, the cars were funny looking. How's that for a little history lesson here at the Don Garlits Museum of Drag Racing?
The ARP Quarter Mile Quiz with Butch McCall offers you a chance to win a Quarter Mile Quiz sweatshirt while testing your knowledge of drag racing. Brought to you by ARP, the world leader in racing fastener technology.
Quarter Mile Quiz.
We're here at the Gator Nationals in Gainesville, Florida to answer Crystal Perry's question for this week's ARP quarter mile quiz. And that question is, after the runs on the fuel cars, the funny cars especially, what parts do they have to change? Well, I tell you what, we'll ask Assistant Crew Chief for Mike Ashley's Torco funny car, Steve Boggs, if he can't help us with the answer.